If you make it easier for people to be healthier, they will be healthier. People, for the most part, there's not a lot of people walking around going, boy, I'd like to be a little less fit right now. Hey there, Coach Devin here. Let's talk about Newfoundland. Newfoundland has a new tax. It is a sugar tax. That's what they're calling it, a sugar tax. And the sugar tax is basically levied on all products like Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Sprite, etc. It's a new 20% tax on sugary drinks. Is that really the right call? Is it a good thing to do? What do you think about it? I'm going to talk about this right now. If you have comments, questions, things you disagree with, write them up in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Definitely, this is an interesting topic. And it really comes down to, are we going to try to incentivize people to eat more healthy and drink more healthy food? Things like, in this case, fewer soft drinks, or are we going to, instead of incentivizing them, are we going to demonize something and make them pay more money? And it really comes down to, like, that's an honest question. Do you want to do it one way or do you want to do it another way? Now, when you think about it, we've been doing this for years. You pay a ton of tax in Canada on alcohol. Why do we pay taxes on alcohol? Because alcohol costs money, because people with alcohol problems and accidents, etc., they end up in the hospital. We're paying money for that. So people, we charge more money based on that because of the fact that, hey, guess what? It's going to cost money. So we charge extra money on alcohol. We tax alcohol so that we can see if, if people are going to get out there and they're going to, cost us money with alcohol consumption, then we're going to tax you for that. Okay, that's kind of how it works. Same thing applies for things like cigarettes. People with cigarettes, just fixing that thing there quick. People with cigarettes, they pay a ton of tax. Why do they pay a ton of tax? Because they're going to have a lot of health-related problems down the road. That's just the facts. They will have a ton of health-related problems. What are we going to do about that? We have to take care of them later. We have health care, right, here in Canada. We have to take care of those people with health-related problems later. What are we going to do about the health-related problems? We're going to tax them, and they're going to pay money in advance, right? That's the idea. The people who are smoking pay money in advance. If you're, basically it's a sin tax, right? Like a tax on sins you'd have, like alcohol and, cigarettes. You pay taxes on that because guess what? That's something that's going to cost the government and the rest of the taxpayers money down the road. Is that the right call, or is there a better way to do this? Now, listen, I am all for everything healthy and health related. I 100% I'm on board with Newfoundland trying to do this to make their citizens more healthy. I think it's a great idea. In reality, BC is already doing a sort of a similar type thing. It's not a bad idea to go out there and say, okay, we need to be more healthy. We want to be more healthy for our citizens. How are we going to do this? We're going to tax you if you're going to take something into your body that's bad for you. If you're someone who is going to hurt your body and it's going to cost us money later, we're going to tax you for that. So you preemptively are paying for your health care down the road. Now, some people are going to say, Devin, come on now. That's ridiculous. Why is it that, we would preemptively have to pay for sugary drinks? Well, sugary drinks are bad for you. That's the bottom line. There's nothing nutritionally necessary in Coke, Pepsi, etc. Nothing. It has no nutritional value of any kind across the board. Nothing. It is going to give you a bunch of extra calories. So a bunch of extra calories, what does that mean? Extra calories means extra weight. If you have extra weight on, you will be less healthy. Those are the facts. Period. End of discussion. I am going to be less healthy at 235 pounds, even though I exercise and I'm a healthy person, per se. I'm going to be less healthy than somebody who's lighter. Just the facts. I wish I could change that, but that's facts. If you're a heavier person, even in my case, you will be more of a drain on the healthcare system as time goes on. It's the way it works. Listen, if there was a way to do it differently, I'd be all over it, but it's not a thing. So if you're heavier, you will have more health-related problems. If you carry more body fat, you will have more health-related problems, thus the tax. Now, I don't know if I'm really on board, though, with the tax, and hear me out on this. I understand where they're trying to go is trying to make people more healthy, trying to make people healthier and just in better shape in general. Always a good thing. I'm always going to be on board with that. But I think you get more with a carrot than you do with a stick. So if you're going to beat somebody down and say, okay, you got to pay a ton of extra taxes on these things, Okay, but people are probably going to still do them. Does that mean they're going to be any more healthy? No, it just means that you're going to get more tax dollars out of them, and maybe that long term helps out. Maybe that's a win for the government and everybody wins on it. I don't know. I don't know the numbers, but I would say this. I think there's more to taxing the shit out of people than there is to promoting healthier lifestyles. So rather than taxing something a ton, why don't we bring down the taxes on, or actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Instead of taxing something a whole ton, maybe we bring down the tax numbers on healthier food, chicken breast, vegetables, rice, etc. The things that are good for you, let's bring down the tax on that. Or, like I just jumped into it there, or we bring up the taxes on the things that are unhealthy and lower the tax on things that are more healthy. In other words, we're incentivizing people to be more healthy. That, I think, would be a better choice. I think you get more bang for your buck out of that as a government, because you're still taxing the sin, right? You got a sin over here in like cigarettes or, McDonald's food, which everybody can understand is not good for you. We're going to tax that more. We're going to bring down the tax level on fruits, vegetables, and lean cuts of meat. That would be a better choice, I think, because I think long term, where we want to go is we want to incentivize people to do better. People are not the biggest idiots in the world. Most people are fairly bright, and they're bright enough to understand, hey, if something costs more money, I am going to take the thing that costs less money. And in most cases right now, that's junk food. Junk food costs less money. And if junk food costs less money, what are you going to do? You're going to buy junk food, especially if you don't have the money for more healthy food. So why don't we look at how we can incentivize people, bring down the tax level and bring down the cost on healthy food and bring the cost up, if we want to, on non-healthy food. That to me seems like a better choice. Rather than just taxing the unhealthy food, let's figure out a way that people will eat more healthy in general. Let's give people information, because one of the problems people have, I deal with this every day. People don't know what to eat. They don't know how to eat. Let's teach people how to eat better. Let's make it normal to eat healthy food. And let's make it cheaper to eat healthy food and more expensive to eat crap. If we do that, I think bang for your buck, you're going to get more out of it. Now, maybe this is the first part of a series basically where the government is doing that in Newfoundland. And if that's the case, good job. Well done. If that's the case, that they're planning to, bring up the taxes on some stuff like the sugary tax that they're doing now, and they're bringing down the cost on something that is not as healthier, then let's do that. I'm 100% on board, but I do think there has to be a happy medium in here, and we have to figure out a way where we're going to tax things that are more expensive. Tax things not that are more expensive, tax things that are worse for you, so that you're paying money because of the fact that you're going to probably be sick later in life if you're doing it, and then bring down the tax level on the things that'll be healthy, that'll help you do things. And guess what? We've got a win there. To me, that is a win. That is a way you get ahead. It's kind of like, why don't we bring down the tax numbers or bring down something to do with if you have a gym membership? It would be wiser. If you have a gym membership, it would be wiser to incentivize the people to use a gym membership than it is to say to everybody, okay, you're just going to pay a ton of tax for, cigarettes. Bring down the cost of a gym membership. Make it a positive. Do something positive so people are exercising more. There's scientific evidence here that if you exercise more, you'll be a healthier person. You'll cost less money to the healthcare system. That seems to me to be a simple and easy way to do things that would help people long term. So governments, if you're listening, and you're probably not listening, but listen, if the government is listening, there's ways to do this that would be healthier and better for everybody. Bring up the costs on things that are bad for you. Bring down the costs on food that is good for you. Incentivize people to be healthy. Incentivize them to have gym memberships or play sports or whatever it happens to be to move their body. That is where you're going to get bang for your buck. That is where you're going to get a positive reaction from the population. And you know what? If you make it easier for people to be healthier, they will be healthier. People, for the most part, there's not a lot of people walking around going, boy, I'd like to be a little less fit right now. You know what I mean? There's very few people saying right now, boy, I'd like to put on like 30 pounds of fat and be really unhealthy. That would be awesome. No one is thinking that. Everybody wants to be more fit. I want to be more fit, and I work in a gym. Everybody wants to be more fit. The problem is there's a lot of barriers in the way of being more fit. So as a government, what better way than to take down the barriers that people have in front of them, Give them options, give them ways to be more healthy. That would be, as a bang for your buck, way better. Way, way better. You will win as a government if you have healthier citizens. The healthier the citizens, the more productive they're going to be. It's not rocket science here. It's not rocket science. The more healthy an employee is, the better work they're going to do, the fewer sick days they're going to have, the better work they do in general, and that way you have a better, more successful company. Same thing applies with government. If you have a healthier population, they will have fewer sick days, they will take less hospital time, they will have less time off work. Guess what? You're going to collect more taxes. It's a win all across the board. So this is not a hard one. And you know what? At me, as a gym owner, you know what? I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but if I can tell you, hey, guess what? You can be more healthy and we can save money if you do a couple simple things like make it easier for people to exercise and do more physical things and bring down the cost of healthy food and bring up the cost of crappy food. Doesn't seem like rocket science to me. I don't know. I could be missing something. And if I am missing something, write it up in the comments because I'd love to hear from you. But I do think there are ways and simple ways for us to help out with the population and help people be more healthy and fit. There's ways to do this. And you know what? The first step, like Newfoundland is doing right now, is taxing crappy stuff. Do that. That's the first step, but then there's more steps involved in this if you want a healthy and fit population that will live longer and cost you less healthcare dollars. If you have comments, questions, things you want me to talk about, write them up down below. I would love to hear from you in those comments. Have yourself an amazing day, everybody. Don't fight the awesome. Stay fit.